Okay, so today is going to be a more restorative, somewhat yin influence class where we use the props pretty much the entire class for passive support. So the stretches are more passive themselves, or the asanas are more passive themselves. You are going to want today 2 bed pillows. Bed pillows are the best because we want that length. If you have them, you want 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have 2 yoga blocks, 2 soup pans will work just fine. We're using the yoga blocks essentially as props for your pillows. So for soup pans, you would want 2 varying heights, maybe one soup pan that's a little taller than the second soup pan, but those work just as well. You can also use shoe boxes, as long as you're sure those shoe boxes aren't going to collapse on you. And then we're going to start with block number 1 at the back of your mat where your head would go. I've got that turned up to its highest setting, and you can decide what feels most comfortable. Some people are going to be more comfortable closer to the ground. In that case, you would turn it to the second setting. Your second block then is going to be lower than the first block. So if you were at the second setting, you would turn the block down to the first setting, and etc. So if you want a little bit of lift on the pillow, come to the highest setting, and then your second block is essentially there to support the back of the pillow, so you want it a little step lower. From here, we're going to take your bed pillow, and if you have a yoga bolster, feel free to use that as well. It's going to be a little more firm, a little more supportive. We're going to place that edge to head. So you want the edge of the pillow at the very top of either your soup pan or your block. And then the rest of the pillow is going to kind of angle down towards your yoga mat. And you should have the end of the pillow on the yoga mat itself. So nothing's going to be kind of floating in air. From here, we're also going to get your towel set up. So you want today a bath towel. If you have a yoga blanket, that's great too, but bath towel is about the right length that you want. So I've got kind of a large bath towel. Depending on your size, I've got mine folded in half. You want to roll your towel the longer way. So if your towel is longer this direction than this direction, you're going to roll in that length. So the roll that you make is going to be as long as possible, if I made sense there. So I've got my towel folded in half. I'm going to roll it lengthwise, kind of tight rather than loose, because you don't want it to be too bulky. And then eventually it's going to end up looking like a very long tube. We aren't going to use this right away, so go ahead, set that to the side. It's just prepped and ready for you to go. First pillow set up on your bolsters. Second pillow you're going to have for support for your legs. So to begin, we're going to come up kind of hips to edge of the pillow. So make sure your hips and butt are on the ground. Nothing's floating, nothing of the low back or hips are going to be on the pillow. They're on the mat themselves. And then from here, you'll ease yourself back. Have the second pillow handy so you can add it underneath your legs. And you're slowly lie back. You want your head to be propped by the back bolster or back block or back pan. And then the rest of your body should be fully supported by the pillow. This should be a comfortable position. So if it is not, I do invite you to find maybe an alternative. You could also stack pillows if you need a little more cushion, a little more support, bringing your second pillow on top. That's going to give you even more of a lift and incline for the back, if that feels better. If you have just one pillow underneath your back, then we're going to take that other pillow underneath your knees and thighs. I like to have the pillow a little higher under my thighs. Gives me a little more back support. And then you're going to take the legs into a very loose butterfly. You'll externally rotate the hips so that the knees open, the feet fall open, the knees are bent, but the heels are not touching. So you've got the feet and heels about hips-width distance apart as you lie back. And feel free to adjust yourself here as needed until you feel comfortable. If having this external rotation right off the bat is too much for your hips or low back, you're free to find neutral with the legs, having the toes kind of face a little more upwards, maybe bending the knees a little more. To begin, we're going to start left hand over your heart, right hand over your belly, about the space where your navel is. Take a full deep breath in, and take a long, complete breath out. If comfortable, allow your eyes to softly close here, letting the eyelids rest lightly on the cheeks. Feel the sensation, movement. Listen to the sound of each full breath in and each full breath out. As you inhale, feel the gentle rise and fall of your palms as your breath moves upwards, downwards, through your abdomen. We'll take just a few more breaths here, drawing attention and focus to each inhale and exhale. Now let your awareness travel to the palm of your right hand. And on your next inhale, see if you can breathe into just your belly. So you feel the belly expand into the right palm rise. And as you exhale, draw the navel towards the back of the spine and allow the right palm to release. Again, inhale into the belly. And exhale through the belly. Couple more here. Inhaling belly, feeling it expand like a balloon. Exhale, feeling the full release as the navel draws to the back of the spine. Again, inhale belly. And exhale belly. Now as you inhale, start the breath at the belly, but see if you can move the breath upwards through the rib cage and all the way up into the chest, the space below your left palm. As you exhale, move the breath downwards, front of the heart to the back of the heart, rib cage together, belly to spine. Again, inhale belly, rib cage, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Couple more. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Again, inhale belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. We'll expand a bit more. Inhale belly, ribs, chest. See if you can find your breath behind your rib cage, behind your shoulder blades, and behind your heart. And then as you exhale, exhale from the back, the chest, the ribs, the belly. Again, inhale belly, ribs, chest, back. Exhale back, chest, ribs, belly. Again, inhale belly, ribs, chest, back. Exhale back, chest, ribs, belly. Take a few more breaths here. Now playing with where you move the breath through your body. You might begin the breath now in the chest, And then exhale the breath from the belly. You might inhale from chest to belly and exhale back upwards. Moving the breath as if you were playing a musical instrument with your body. Take about another 5 to 6 breaths here. As it feels right, allow your palms to slowly drift away from your body for a few moments, opening towards the ceiling, allowing the shoulders to roll back, the chest to open. And allow your breath to return to a natural, neutral movement, softening through the inhales and exhales. Feel free to keep your eyes closed throughout the rest of class or when needed. And feel free as well from here to allow the eyes to gently blink back open. From here, extend your right leg forward, just letting the knee lift. Extend the right leg. Let it float above the mat. Point and flex your right foot. Circle the right ankle. And then relax your right leg. Return it to the pillow and switch sides. Extending the left leg forwards. Let it float just above the mat. Circle your ankle. Flex and point. And then let the left leg return to the floor. Inhale now, reach both arms over your head. Take a moment to stretch long from the upper body, fingers through rib cage all the way down to hip points. And then again, exhale, let the arms float back down to the mat. This time, inhale, extend both legs, both arms. You can let the heels float or bring the heels to the mat. Do what feels most comfortable. Big stretch here. And then again, return your arms to a neutral position, whether they're folded over your body, out beside you. We're going to bend both knees, walking the feet back until both feet can be placed on the floor in a neutral position. From here, let your knees windshield wiper gently a couple of times side to side. Does not need to be big movement. Try to limit the movement from your upper body and keep the movement mostly in the hips and legs. From here, we're going to come to a figure 4 position on your right side. Keeping your left knee bent, bend your right knee in towards your chest. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, letting the right knee fall wide. You can stay right here, neutral. If you're wanting a bit more, you're simply going to move the left foot back until the left foot is actually resting on the pillow. So rather than drawing the left knee into the chest today, we're going to keep it a little lighter, a bit more passive, by just raising the left foot an inch or two onto your pillow. Slowly allowing the right hip to open as the ankle rests over your left knee. Couple more breaths. Now, if you have your left foot on your pillow, we're going to move the left foot back to the mat in front of the pillow. So the left leg is in a neutral, supported position. From here, draw your right knee into your chest. Your hands can go around the front of the shin, below the knee, or behind the knee itself. draw a few circles with your right knee. Again, not very big movement, just enough to encourage some blood flow back into your right hip. You also maybe feel a little bit of a massage behind your right knee. And then from here, set your right foot down, right foot in front of the pillow for now. Draw the left knee in, and we'll do figure 4 on your left. Cross your left ankle over your right knee, letting the left knee fall wide. Again, you can keep the right foot right where it is. If you're wanting a bit more, you're simply going to move the right foot back until it's resting on the pillow. So just lifting the right foot slightly, the right leg a few inches to take it deeper into the left hip, but not going for extreme sensation here. A few more breaths. Last 2 breaths. And now again, return, left foot back to the floor. Keep the right foot, take the right foot back to the floor. Keep your left knee drawn into your chest and draw a few circles first with the left knee so that we're even. Few circles one direction and few circles in the other direction. Once you're even, now place your left foot back on the floor. Reach underneath you, remove that second pillow from underneath your legs. Set it to the side, but keep it handy. You might use it for the next round. From here, we're going to shift and roll to one side, your right or your left. You'll use your bottom forearm as a support as you let the knees start to turn to the side. From there, top hand's going to slowly lift you up. Keep your head nice and heavy. You're going to come up to seated. Once you come up to seated, place both feet on the yoga mat, about hips-width distance apart, maybe a little wider. We're going to do a couple seated cat-cows. Placing your palms at the front of your shins. Inhale, wrap your elbows back, draw your shoulder blades down and back, heart lifts forwards and up. As you exhale, let your shoulders round forwards. Tuck the tail slightly, bring your chin to your chest. 4 more here. Inhale. And exhale. 3. Last 2. Inhale, coming up to seated. We're going to do from here a passive twist. Again, if you need a little more lift, you can place your second pillow on top of the first pillow to give you a bit more elevation. So I'll show you the pose first. If you decide you need a little bit more lift, maybe that pillow goes underneath your body. It can also go between your legs to help to stack the knees and neutralize the hips and low back. We're going to start with your left hip alongside your pillow. From there, we're going to take your feet to face the front of your mat. So you're going to softly stagger the legs here. You can also come into a figure 4 or deer pose position, taking this right knee back a bit so that the left foot is on the inside of the right leg. It's going to give you a little more of a hip stretch, but it might be a bit too intense, in which case legs are going to be staggered. Again, you can also place pillow between the knees to help support the low back if you're feeling this in your low back. From here, we're going to take the upper body, turn it towards the pillow, and you're going to try to lie upper body as flat to the pillow as possible. So this becomes a twist. It's a bit of a passive twist, but it's still a twist. Walking the hands forwards, you'll rest upper body on the pillow. Again, if you need a bit more lift, add that second pillow, and that'll take some of the sensation out of the twist. Forearms will rest gently to the mat either side. You can always place blankets or something underneath the forearms as well if they don't quite come to the floor. Neutral neck, your gaze is going to turn to what should now be your right. More of a twist. You'll turn your head the opposite direction of the knees. That'll give the neck a bit of a stretch. If that's too much, again, neutral position, head turning to the right. We'll rest here. About 10 breaths, maybe a little more, about 45 seconds total. Head heavy, shoulders heavy. Think about breathing into the back side of your body so you feel the area between your shoulder blades and the back of your heart expand, giving the lungs a little more of a chance to breathe here. Good. Few more breaths on this side. Begin to walk your hands back so that your palms are resting somewhat under your shoulders. Press down into your palms. Keep your head nice and heavy so the neck's not doing the work. You'll slowly let yourself round up to seated. From here now, we're going to turn and face your bolster, your pillows. So we'll bring that right leg around. And then we're going to straddle the pillows themselves, taking both legs on either end and coming into, again, a very wide butterfly pose. So I'm going to take both knees bent. Pillow, I have them both stacked for a bit more support. And I'm actually going to fold the top pillow up for even more support. The feet are wide, knees are open. From here, we're going to try to come forwards as best as we can. So what I'm going to do is take this top pillow, fold it down so it has even more of a lift, stack that under my chest, and then let the other hands or my arms rest on the other pillow. Head nice and heavy. Your head might rest on your pillow. It might not, but allow the neck to relax as well. You can also bring the arms just down towards the shins. Let the hands rest at the feet if that's accessible. So any comfortable position. You could even wrap the forearms underneath this top pillow, grab opposite forearms. So you decide what feels best for you and most supported there. We're going to take about 5 more breaths here. Good. Now let your hands walk yourself back up to seated. We're going to keep the pillows just as they are. Keep this next asana very similar but slightly different. Left leg's going to stay just as it is. We're going to lift the right knee and extend the right leg out into a half straddle. I'm going to keep quite a bend in my right knee just to avoid overstretching the inside of the knee itself. You can also place another pillow, maybe that rolled up towel underneath your knee for support as well. And then again, you're going to fold forwards. We're going to hold this one about half the time, walking the hands forwards, using the second pillow, maybe folding it underneath your chest so you have the support for your low back. Arms resting again where it's most comfortable. You can always bend elbows, let your forehead rest in your palms as well to support your neck. About 5 breaths here. One more breath. And then again, walking your hands back in, walking the chest back up. Once you've returned to seated, you're going to give your right leg a little hand, sliding the hand under your knee. Let the knee bend slightly. Place the right foot back in that really wide butterfly position, and you'll switch legs. Lifting the left knee, and then extending the left leg out to the left into a half straddle. Any amount, keeping a soft bend in the left knee to avoid overstretching. Once there, walking forwards, folding, hands wrapped around the pillow. Maybe you've bent the forearms, your head's resting in the hands. So again, you choose what feels most comfortable here. You've got about 5 more breaths. Once again, you'll walk your hands back up. Coming back up to seated. From here, if you had your pillow stacked on top of the first pillow for the first side of your twist, you'll do the same thing. So now, slide your right hand, or your left hand rather, underneath your left knee. Use your hands to lift that knee. We're going to slowly scoot ourselves back away from the pillow so you have a bit of movement here. Take the feet about the width of your yoga mat, toes turned out slightly. Again, another round of seated cat-cows. So you'll grab a hold of your shins. This time as you inhale, open the knees. Try to bring your heart and your upper body forwards through the legs. And then as you exhale, you'll round. Let the knees come inwards, internal rotation. And then again, inhale, open and lift. Exhale, close and round. 3 more like that. Inhale. And exhale. 2. Last round. From here, come back up to seated. We'll move the legs in. Now I'm going to turn my back to you so I can do the second side. We're going to turn right hip now alongside your pillows. Once your right hip is alongside your pillows, we're going to take the feet both back to face the front top of your mat. So the legs are staggered. Again, if you want a bit more for the hips, You're going to bring the left knee back a little further so the right foot rests on the inside of the left knee and thigh. So you're in kind of a figure 4 or deer position. From there, you'll turn upper body towards your pillow into a twist, walk yourself out, and lie your upper body over your pillow as comfortably as possible. Again, neutral position for your neck. The head's going to face the same direction as the knees to the left. Twisted position for the neck. Head will turn opposite of the knees. Forearms resting on the floor if possible, so the arms and shoulders can relax. Soften through your body. We'll be here about 10 breaths. Last few breaths here. Now begin to walk your hands back so they're under your shoulders. Press into your palms, let your head and shoulders be heavy. Slowly work yourself back up to seated. Once you come back to seated, we're going to turn one more time to face the pillows. This time just to remove them from your mat. Keep them handy though, we are going to use them again. I'm just going to set them to the side. Keep the blocks handy as well. From now on, you'll have the option of either using your blocks or using your pillow. So have both handy within reach of your mat. Once they're off the mat, then we're going to turn, face the front of your mat, come onto all fours. We're just going to do a couple rounds of cat-cow here to get a bit more movement into your back before we actually return to your back. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, and you want your wrists just slightly forwards of your shoulder. So you have more of a diagonal line from wrist to shoulder, and you have a light crease in your wrist rather than the heavy crease. Keep the hands at least shoulder width distance apart, maybe slightly wider, especially if you know you have tight or sensitive wrists. Fingers spread wide, and you want the index fingers parallel and pointing straight forwards at the top of your mat. Knees under your hips. Feet tracking with the knees, so if you look between your knees, you shouldn't be able to see your feet. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Do what feels best for your low back. If your low back is still feeling tight, you're probably going to keep the toes tucked for now. Your next inhale, wrap your elbows back, eyes of the elbows pointing forwards. Draw your chest forwards, belly down, tail up. As you exhale, start by pressing the floor away from you. Tuck your tail, roll through your spine until your chin comes to your chest. Again, inhale, wrap the triceps back, heart pulls forwards, belly down, tail up. And then again, press the floor down and away, round the spine, chin to chest. We'll do about 6 more rounds here, moving with your breath. Each full inhale is one full cow. Each full exhale, one full cat. Find a range of motion that feels good to you, and work with that range of motion. So you might start to add a little more movement as you get comfortable. Maybe a bit of a rocking motion, back and forth, just to get a little bit more movement into the legs and arms. You might do a circular cat-cow. If you know any other variations that feel good. Maybe the simple cat-cow at the top of the mat is what feels best to you. Got a couple more breaths here. Good, last full round. From here, we're going to come to a child's pose. I'll give you again several different options. Option one, minimal props. You're going to take your knees about the width of your yoga mat, maybe slightly more narrow. You'll reach back, grab one of your pillows, place that pillow at the edge between your knees, and then you'll rest on the pillow itself. Slightly more propped, add your second pillow so that your upper body is a bit more lifted. You can also take one of the pillows, place that under your bum, on top of your heels, and actually have that second pillow supporting the legs and hips so there's not so much pressure on your knees as you come forwards into your child's pose. Allow the elbows maybe to rest a little wider so the arms can be in a comfortable position. You're also free to take the hands back behind you, letting the palms rest upwards outside of the hips if that's comfortable. Any other variation that feels good to you here. I'm going to take about 8 breaths. Forehead could be down, head could be turned to the side if that's more comfortable. Find a relaxing position for your neck. Four more breaths here. And once again, slide your hands back so your palms are under your shoulders. Start to round yourself up, letting the head stay heavy. We're going to come up into kind of a half squat position. If you have the pillow under your hips, go ahead, remove that pillow from under your hips. Let the hips shift to one side. Move your knees to the other. We're going to come to seated. Once you've come to seated, again, keep your props nearby. Bring your legs back and forwards out in front of you. Once again, we're going to take your feet about the width of your yoga mat. Slide yourself down so you do have plenty of space to lie back once we go back. From here, walk your hands back a few inches. You should have light weight in the fingers, not all that weight in the wrists. Let your knees windshield wiper a few times from side to side. Now from here, you'll lower to one forearm, letting the body move to one side, then your other forearm. From there, use the forearms and the elbows to ease the rest of your body back to the floor. Once your head is on the floor, bend the knees to a neutral position so that your feet are on your mat. Let your arms open a little wider, maybe a wide A or T position. Drop your right ear to the floor, so turning your head to the right. letting your right cheek rest towards the mat. So we just give a passive stretch to your neck. Bring your head to center and over to your left. Now bring the left cheek as close to the floor as it's comfortable for your neck. Good. Bring your head back to center. Your feet back to neutral, about hips width distance apart. And now bring your right knee back into your chest, giving the right knee a hug. Again, you can interlace or stack your fingers on the shin or behind the knee. And if comfortable now, safe for your low back, extend the left leg forwards for a breath or two. So as you hug the right knee in, the left leg lengthens and you start to feel a stretch in the front of the left hip and psoas area. Take one more breath here. Slide the left heel in until the left knee is bent, foot to the floor. Release the right foot back down and we'll switch sides. As the right foot touches, draw your left knee into your chest, giving the left knee a hug in, a little more towards the rib cage rather than straight across the chest. And if comfortable, extending the right leg forwards, feeling the oppositional stretch as the left knee hugs. One more breath here. Slide the right heel back in, right foot on the floor. Left foot releases back down to the mat. This time we'll extend both legs forwards. Both arms overhead. Take a moment, full body stretch. If comfortable, let your low back arch. Expand the belly, reach through the fingers. One more full deep breath. And then again, as you exhale, hands will come back to neutral. Low back will come to the floor. Feet walk back in, knees bent. From here, we're going to come into a supported shoulder stand position. I'm going to use a pillow. It's probably level 1 setting if you wanted to go level wise. You are also free if you're wanting a bit more sensation to use your blocks. I would go on the lowest setting. We don't want too much sensation, so you would have the block turned all the way down so the flat, wide side goes across your sacrum. From here, we're going to place your block or your pillow under your low back. So you'll press down into the feet and heels, lift the hips until you can slide the pillow or the block underneath, and then release the hips back down. Pillow is more than adequate. We just want the hips a little higher than your heart. Once you're settled, you feel that your sacrum, the flat part of your low back, is resting comfortably on your pillow or block. We're going to start by drawing your right knee in towards your chest. Just kind of noticing if the hips need to leave the support system. Maybe you do this on the floor without any lift at all. If you feel like your low back won't need to curl up, bring the left knee up now. You can stay right here. To take this further, we're going to extend the legs upwards towards the ceiling. They don't have to extend all the way. If you feel this a lot in your low back, again, the low spine is trying to curl, shift the legs slightly forwards. Make sure your heels are either directly over your hips or slightly forwards. The core will have to work harder, but the low back will not have to work as hard. We're going to have about 8 breaths here. So if at any point you need to rest, you can simply just bend the knees back in towards your chest, let your low back rest, and then re-extend the legs upwards. Just elevating the hips above the heart, elevating the legs above the heart so that the heart can have a break, reversing the blood flow back down to the low back. Last couple of breaths here. Good. Now slowly bend right knee back in, left knee back in. Set your right foot down, set your left foot down. If this next version is too much for your low back, remove the block or pillow from under your hips. You're going to repeat the sequence we did right before this one. We're going to start left knee bent, flat to the floor, and then slowly begin to extend your right leg forwards. The elevation of the hips will give you a bit deeper of a stretch in your right psoas, front of the right hip, deep core muscles. Let your back relax. And again, if this becomes too much, remove the pillow. You can keep the left foot on the ground with the right leg extended forwards, or you could draw the left knee into your chest. Also an option if your hips are on your block or on your pillow and you're wanting a bit more, try drawing the left knee into your chest and giving the left knee a hug. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. If you had your left foot lifted, set your left foot down. Slide from the heel so the hamstring does a little bit of the work, bringing the right foot back in, right knee bent. Adjust your hips if they shifted at all off the block and are no longer even. And then once you're ready, extend the left leg forwards and switch sides. Relaxing the left leg as much as you can, letting it be heavy. Again, you have the option of staying right here. You have the option of removing the pillow or the support from under your hips. If you're wanting more, draw the right knee into your chest as you extend the left leg forwards. Last 2 breaths here. Go ahead. Right foot's going to come back down to the mat. Slide the left heel back to rebend your left knee. Once both feet are firmly on the floor, press into the heels. Inhale, lift your hips. Lifting high enough, remove the block or pillow. Try to lower 1 vertebrae at a time, lengthening the tail towards the heels, so the tail is the last thing to touch. Once your hips are back on the mat, heel toe your feet back out the width of your yoga mat. Let the knees rest together at a teepee position at the center, and this will help to widen and release your low back. Arms in whatever position feels most comfortable to you. Now let the knees a couple of times windshield wiper side to side. Let your body again roll to one side, your right or your left. Rest a moment or two on your side. And then slowly, head nice and heavy. You're going to lift yourself one more time up to seated. And we'll get ready for our last asana before your final relaxation. So from here, again, you can decide 2 pillows or 1 pillow. You might also want a prop under your head, in which case you'll just use 1 block or maybe 1 soup pan. I'm going to start with 2 pillows. So I'm just going to stack both pillows up perpendicular to my mat. Again, you might want a little support under your head, so then you might place a block under your head. This is where we're going to add your towel. So we're going to come into a butterfly position with the feet, bringing the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. Once you have your butterfly position, you're going to take your towel, place it on top of your ankles, and then take one end of the towel, wrap it around underneath, and the other end of the towel wraps around underneath. So both edges of the towel will actually be like blocks or bolsters underneath your legs, should be supporting the weight from this position. You are also free to take a wider butterfly, scooting the heels more forwards. The heels away from the center line of your body will be a little less of a stretch, a little less intense. Closer the heels come, a bit more. From here, we're going to lie back. So this is where you can decide, maybe you need something under your head, maybe you need less pillows, maybe you need more. You're going to lie back. So we've got just the littlest arch in the upper body to open the front side of the body. Knees are open, opening the hips, upper body slightly elevated. Arms are going to rest out nice and wide so the palms can rotate open, the shoulders can externally rotate. Take a full deep breath in. As you exhale, allow your eyes to close. Allow your face to go soft. And allow your upper body to be heavy. We'll be here for about 6 more breaths. I invite you to stay here for your full final relaxation. If your body isn't quite comfortable enough here, first you'll remove the towel, letting the feet come inwards. Maybe just sliding that towel out from underneath you, re-extending the legs. See how that feels. If you still need a bit more, you could bend the knees, adjust the hips, maybe teepee the legs. If you feel that you need to come down to the floor, roll to one side, reach behind you, remove the pillows. Maybe you keep a pillow for under your head. And then maybe your second pillow goes back under your knees. So always making sure you find a place that's comfortable, relaxing, calming, and supportive to you. Make any little movements, adjustments that are needed. As your body starts to settle into a place of comfort, try to find stillness, resisting the urge to shift when it's no longer needed, to scratch, to adjust. And then once again, bring focus back to your breath. Soft, gentle inhales and exhales. And if comfortable, allowing your exhale to extend slightly longer than your inhale. As you breathe, feeling your entire body breathe. Belly, rib cage, chest, back. Allowing the diaphragm to fully move and move the breath. As your body breathes, allow it to grow heavy, softening any areas that are not needed for your breath. Feet, hands, arms, and legs. Soften the muscles of your face. Soften the muscles of your throat, allowing the breath to flow freely like a fully open faucet. Slowly bring your awareness down to your hands. Place your thumb on the pad of your index fingers and start to draw soft, gentle circles. Notice the sensation of touch, of pattern, texture. Move your thumbs to your middle fingers, noticing a difference of sensation, of movement. Thumbs to ring fingers. Pinky. A different sensation for each finger, a different range of motion. Moving back upwards, start to wiggle your toes now. As you get to your index fingers, stretch the fingers long and wide. Curl your fingers in and out of fists. Start to circle your ankles, wrists. Slowly increasing movement, range of motion. Breath deepens, builds. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. Stretch one more time from fingers to toes. This time as you exhale, bring both knees up into your chest, giving yourself a final hug. Take a moment here to rock lightly side to side. Maybe draw some soft circles with your knees. Give your back a massage into the floor. Gently roll to one side once again, right or left. A few final moments of pause, rest. See if your head can be the very last thing to lift as you slowly start to press yourself up to seated. Come to any comfortable seated position on your mat. Lengthening through your spine, relax your shoulders down. Let your palms rest upwards on your knees. On your next inhale, circle your arms out wide, bringing your palms up and in. See if you can gaze up to see your thumbs touch. As you exhale, gently trace the midline of your body, chin to chest, hands to heart. Thank you very much for joining me today, sharing your practice with me. Namaste.